there's so many things. Art moves in many different directions. You've got art the verb, art the noun, art the experience. And the first thing, art, I think of little children playing with crayons, and it's this innocence. That action is this uninhibited, unself-conscious, pure act of creation. And I feel like there's one point in somebody's life that they get told that it's not as good, or they feel that it's not as good. And then the rest of our lives, we're trying to go back to that moment where it's pure and innocent again. And so artists today that are making work have figured out a way to get over that. There's those little critters inside your head that sit on your shoulder and they whisper that you're not good enough. And so artists have a way of putting those to pasture. So that's art as in the act to me, that it's this resilience of creation. I think of myself as a steward of this creativity. I want to nurture it, and I want to build as much of that culture around me, that there's this nurturing love for art. And then the art as the experience itself. I think art and beauty and love, they're constantly in flux, they're constantly changing. And so you have this thing inside you that's telling you what you're seeing is valuable or what you're seeing is not valuable. And that thing could be art, it could be beauty, it could be truth. But there's the thing in you that constantly changes, and then the thing between you and your experience that constantly changes. So it's a moving target.
I think that one of the saddest things that a lot of people do is they act in a way in which they feel like they should. The way they dress, they talk, they converse, even their social activities is what they think that they should do. They're not necessarily confident in the way in which they feel, in the way in which they can express themselves. However, when people are really true and honest with themselves and they feel great in who they are and they infuse that, they dress in a way that expresses themselves, they talk and operate, they dance in a way, they hang out with the people in which really make them feel alive, they really rock and own who they are, that's when things start coming. That's when the floodgates open. So never be afraid to stop doing something that isn't creating happiness in your life, that's draining you. If it's not creating energy and it's robbing it from you, it's something you gotta cut loose. Because you rock on who you are, you infuse your life with the things that keep you going, and it's like the doors open and things just start coming your way.
Self-esteem. That's difficult. Being female, being tall, having gone through periods of being very gawky, awkward, as well as chubby. It's always been an issue I've struggled with. Living in the modeling world as well. It was always very difficult to nurture my own self-esteem or feel like I essentially was mostly physically good enough, and that translated to emotionally and mentally as well. But as I got older, I'd say mid to late 20s, my self-esteem came in the form of acceptance that this is who I was. I was a mother. I'd become a mother. I'd overcome a few issues, and for the first time felt really comfortable in my own skin, and embraced my height, embraced who I was genetically, and grew to really love it.
The great Nelson Mandela said at his inauguration, "Our deepest fears is not that we are inadequate, Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us the most. We ask ourselves, who are we to be beautiful, talented, gorgeous, and gifted? Actually, who are we not to be? We are all children of the Most High God. We were all born to manifest the glory of God within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in all of us. And when we let our light shine, we unconsciously give permission for those around us to do the same. We are living in a world, literally, where fear is our greatest obstacle. And I believe that if we ever going to realize our truest potential as a nation, as a people, as humanity, then we have to begin to push beyond the threshold of our comfort zones, push beyond the threshold of our individual fear. It was once said a long time ago that God gives each and every one of us an assignment. And that personal assignment is why we were created. That personal assignment is why we are here. And if we fail to do our assignment on the earth, something great and powerful doesn't happen. And that's my greatest fear. My greatest fear is that I walk this earth, and sometimes when I drive past the cemetery and I see all of these tombstones and I see these names, and I remember one time I was in the car with my daughter and she was like, who are those people? Well, we don't know who those people are. Maybe we don't know who those people are because maybe they didn't do anything in their lives for us to really know who they are. So that's my greatest fear. My greatest fear is that I live in existence and nobody knows who I am. And it should be the greatest fear of everybody because we were all put in this world to do something great.